Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, we're going to talk about it, but I'm going to tell you something right now. They couldn't make it, for me personally, any more confusing. So, hello, beautiful human. Welcome to Kick Up the Legs. Let's talk about this, because episodes 2 through 5, I don't 100% understand. Now, let's run with Ishida and the father. Why is their dynamic so weird? Like, why is the father treating Ishida as a kid? He spent time. He cares about his son to make sure he gets his Quincy powers back, because he wants him to eventually have kids and pass on the Quincy traditions, but yet he keeps him out of the library where he can learn about Quincy's. And then he's also hiding a book that his teacher had that said a lot more information about Quincy's. It's like, why are you hiding so much information? It might not be his problem, but at the same time, don't leave him kind of dumb, because he's not ever going to get stronger, because he's never going to be prepared for what's going to come next. But we're going to leave that alone. If you have an idea about that, just let me know. But if you think I'm going to find out more about it sometime during the 1,000-Year Blood War, don't leave a comment and ruin it for me, because I don't want to know things I'm not supposed to know if they're going to end up telling it. The Quincy King, now, on the other hand, oh my goodness. The man is over 1,000 years old. First, I thought he was human. Now, I don't know what he is. So, he's about 1,000 years old. He has been technically asleep for 900. He got his mind back after 90, and then he got his strength back after 9. So technically, was he alive 200 years ago while, the Quincy's were being slaughtered? I say no, he wasn't alive. And you're probably going to, and by the way, you're going to hear a lot of noise because they were doing the road on the outside. I apologize for that, but bear with me. I don't think he was alive. So how does he find out all this information about Soul Society? How does he find out about Ichigo and all his friends and Ishida and all this other good stuff? I'm trying to figure out how they find out all this information without anybody really realizing what it is. Now, I think I might have an idea on who it is, but at the present time, I'm going to hold it to the end of this video. The fight between Ichigo and Ope, I will be honest with you, did not make any sense for me at all whatsoever. And what I mean by this is, Ichigo's at a point at this present time that when he reaches his Bankai form, he is well above captain level, if not stronger than most of the captains in Soul Society. And probably, to be honest, thinking about it, could be a sparring partner for Yamamoto. I'm not saying he could technically beat him, but potentially even a sparring partner, which would be an interesting fight just to see to begin with all the years and talent he has in fighting and him unleashing his unbelievable amount of strength. I just would love to at least see that fight once. Now with Ope, I did like his power. I like how he was able to absorb the Reishi. Now if all the Quincy's are able to do that, that literally makes them nearly unstoppable for the most part. But the one thing that necessarily didn't make sense was when Ichigo broke that crown above his head. And now, don't get me wrong, the fight was looking pretty good, but when he broke the crown above his head, why couldn't he recreate that crown as if it was kind of like his Shikai? I mean, I really don't understand. It's like, why couldn't he just use the energy in his wings to recreate that ring above his head, or the halo, and then continue absorbing more Reishi? It didn't necessarily make sense. However, the fact he didn't recreate it and they continued on to this fight. Now, it doesn't seem that any ability that Jay really uses against Ichi really works. And the problem that I'm having is that when Ichigo technically goes and attacks Jay physically, technically Ichigo's attacks don't necessarily work unless he's trying to hold back to find out as much information as possible. Now that could be possible, but at the same exact time, he's also risking, his friends who are nearby, like Chad, for example, who is literally sitting inside a bubble because they can't do anything. Now I thought they were going to be helpful, but apparently they're currently not that helpful, because I guess if they get into the fight, they risk being injured, because I guess they're fighting above their level right now. Which, again, I'm thinking that they're just not strong enough to fight at the present time. And if they are, I don't see why they are not fighting. But either way, Urahara jumps in very randomly, pops a hole in Jay, and then the end of this fight just quickly happens. But no, no, no. That's what I originally thought. It doesn't stop. Jay gets back up, seals Ichigo in this prison that is, I don't know what it is, but either way, he's in jail and he can't escape at the present time. I'm trying to figure out how he's going to get out. We'll see how that ends up happening. But I'm just trying to figure out why Urahara, who is very good at fighting and is as strong as a captain, why is he not like fighting for real? I mean, he's not really doing anything, and it kind of makes me wonder what he's technically up to at the present time. Now, when the Quincy's invade Soul Society, listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. That was a fight. That was not even a fight, it was a slaughter. Even though that Soul Society was prepared in the event of a surprise attack, they just were not prepared. I don't understand the power levels of some of their fighters. It's like, hey, we're just going to bring a bunch of people on to put in the front lines and you're just all going to be slaughtered. And that just to me doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, the only person that literally brought pure enjoyment to my heart was Zaraki Kenpachi, and I love it. He literally took down 3 of them by himself, and he was like, okay, yeah, these guys are kind of like whatever. I don't want to fight the scrawny guy. I want to fight the king. I want to fight the big one. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to see, because he doesn't have to worry about his Bankai being stolen, because technically at the present time he doesn't even have one, which is great. Now, however, his powers technically could be stolen through the absorption that they, have, which I don't know how that's going to end up working out, because he has such a large amount of, spiritual pressure, but I guess we'll end up seeing how that works out. But on the other hand, looking at Byakuya, he let me down completely. This whole entire thing of the story of fear and letting it get to you, I was like, first off, don't you know the flash step? To, a bunch of different spells, that you can throw fireballs and all this other good stuff. And, you can like lock people up in prisons and stuff like that. Like, you use some of that. It's like almost like every single person forgot that they had the ability to use certain spells in their speech, and they have certain movements that they have in fighting that they're just not showing. So in a way, I kind of feel like this fight in the middle of this invasion is a little bit rushed, or they just became like super stupid when they got invaded, and they're only going to be smart if they're on the attacking side, which again doesn't really make sense. Now, you don't have to technically agree with me, and if you don't, let me know down in the comments. If you do, let me know down in the comments too, but this is why I'm 100% confused even when they're being attacked, because they have so much at their disposal that they're just not using at all whatsoever. It's almost like brute force versus brute force, and it's whoever has the advantage. Now, getting to the meat and potatoes and my main theory, which is Urahara. I think he is passing off information to the Quincy's. Now, I could be 100% wrong, and I'm 100% okay with that. But there's something that just doesn't make sense. He's in the right place at the right time currently. He was in the right place at the right time at Ichigo's house to go to Wakamundo. When he was in Wakamundo, of all places, he realized when the Quincy's invaded the Soul Society, and he like knew it happened, which again doesn't make sense unless he has, things that are triggered there. But he's not really trying if you really think about it. He's just kind of taking things super back. Now, that does play into his character, but everyone wants to see him fight for real. But I just think he's holding back for a very specific reason that just doesn't make sense. Like, he's not really doing something that to me would show, oh, okay, you're really fighting with Ichigo. I think in a way he's helping Ichigo move along, but at the same exact time, not really doing anything to truly help him. And that's where I kind of sit. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and if you like what I'm doing, and if you stood in there for that long, thank you so very much. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, click that bell notification too, and most importantly, don't forget to kick up and not down. I'll see you next time I post. Peace.